Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Thanks for joining us. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Yeah, nothing going on, really. Same old stuff.
You?
Huh?
You got anything? I mean,
No,
that's it?
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Not much happening.
Just no.
Look at this.
We are jam-packed today. All kinds of interesting things happened. I was at the night 3 of the RNC, bored to tears for about the first 40 minutes. I couldn't take it. It's like, okay, I'm going to bed.
Thank you.
And then it finally kicked into gear a little bit.
It did.
I don't know. Was it the suffragette thing? Is that what it was?
I don't know. I just
One boring
I'm so
thing
happy you
after
said that because
another.
I was looking at my notes, and it's probably about that same time.
Yeah.
And my notes, and I'm like, okay, shut it down.
Yeah, it was about 40 or 45
yet?
minutes, and then because I was almost comatose. I can't take this. I can't do it.
And there was, everything was fine.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, it's just boring. Just a total bore. But it did kick into gear.
It did.
So, notice that Bob Costas, I don't know, he was on some show last night. He had some interesting observations about the stark contrast between last week and this week. That's for sure. Last week was all about Marxism and communism and collectivism. And this week is about the United States of America and the way it should be, and about capitalism and opportunity and chances to grow and develop and earn your way to the top.
And I don't know, life.
Yeah, right. Yes, that's another big point. Let's let people live. How about that? If every black life matters, then let's allow them to be born so that their life can matter.
There's an idea.
How about that? That would be nice, but didn't really. I don't know. Maybe it was. I can't remember who exactly was the first person that kind of kicked it into gear and woke me up and made it tolerable. Because the first 40 minutes were like a month and a half, and then the next 45 were like, oh my gosh, it's almost over. There's only one speaker left.
So I have right after Kayla McEnany, the White House press secretary.
Kaylee wasn't bad.
No, I know, but right in my notes, right after her, I wrote, "Is it over yet?" So
Did you?
then it was Karen Pence.
No.
And then Kellyanne Conway.
Nah.
And then Sister Deidre Byrne, who was awesome.
Okay, she was good.
Yes, I mean, you want to talk about making you feel like you haven't done anything with your life.
Yeah, that's for
She
sure.
did.
Yeah. Because it's not like she's been a lifelong nun. She's done some other things.
Other things, just an incredible
It's
life.
incredible.
And,
Yeah.
and you know, her speech on life was great.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Lou Holtz started it, right?
It might have been Lou.
Lou, then Michael, Cawthorn, Madison Cawthorn.
Madison Cawthorn
awesome.
Was great.
Jack Brewer.
Yes.
Yeah, Lee Zeldin.
Yep.
Burgess Owens.
All those guys. Oh,
yeah.
Burgess. He needs to be elected in Utah.
Clarence Henderson was awesome.
Yes, he was.
Richard Grinnell was
Grinnell was
awesome.
good. Yeah,
and then
and-
into Mike Pence. So yeah,
Richard Grinnell's an interesting story,
he certainly
too.
is. He certainly is. As the former acting head
of national intelligence.
Yeah.
Plus, he was ambassador to Germany. He's gay. So this president who hates gay people, he can't stay. He's doing everything he can to kill them.
Right.
This is the most anti-gay president who's ever. Do you know that he's the only president who was ever pro-gay at the time of his election? He was pro-gay marriage before he was elected.
Yeah.
And so he certainly was when he was elected.
I mean, we were saying that when he was that 1 or 2 days in when they had their pink hat party.
Yeah.
It was just awesome.
Right.
I mean, what are you doing?
I mean, he's
on your
meanwhile,
side.
he's appointing gays to high positions. And, you know, for a man who supposedly hates women, he certainly, it's very interesting that he has more women on his staff than any other president in U.S. history.
Bunch of women on that stage.
A
the last
ton.
few nights, man.
And he's paying one of them more than anybody else. Kellyanne was the highest paid employee on his staff.
And he finally ran her off, though.
Yeah, he ran around. Yes, he did. Because she's a woman and she's making too much money.
Yeah.
So he's going to do something about that now. He's going to take care of it. Meanwhile, Obama was, 84 cents on the dollar, women to men? As much as his thing was about equal pay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he never backed it up.
No way.
The hypocrisy is stunning, really stunning. But you mentioned Lou Holtz. Here's some of what, let's see. Play the whole thing on Lou Holtz.
We got two
it's
of them.
really good. Go ahead and play Lou's speech
I'm
here.
Lou Holtz. Many of you might know me as Coach Holtz, or maybe that football guy. It is a pleasure, a blessing, and an honor for me to explain why I believe that President Trump is a consistent winner, an outstanding leader,
that's the way Lou-
and deserves to be reelected as our president. First, I want you to know that I grew up in a one-bedroom house in West Virginia. I may have been poor, but the lessons my parents taught me were priceless. They taught me that life is about making choices. Wherever you are, good or bad, don't blame anyone else. Go get an education. Get to work. You can overcome any obstacles. And always remember that in this great country of ours, anyone can amount to something special. I lived by those principles of hard work and responsibility my whole life, living out the American story. And it works. But there are people today, like politicians, professors, protesters, and of course, President Trump's naysayers in the media who like to blame others for problems. They don't have pride in our...
Maybe he should just avoid some S's. I don't know. Jeez. It's just so obvious.
We
The
should
S's.
have just told you. Lou did a great speech. Move on.
This man gets paid $100,000, $200,000 per speech.
I know. I've met him once before. I've met him once. He spoke at a luncheon that I was invited to. He was awesome.
Yeah,
he was
good.
Fired up.
What are you saying? It's really good. It's great. In fact, it's excellent.
Were you
It's just
at
that
the
he's
luncheon?
got that speech impediment a
Were
little
you
bit.
there?
So.
Were you at the luncheon?
All right, let's see some more of this. Some more. Let's see some more, Lou Holtz.
They don't have pride in our country. And because they no longer ask, what can I do for my country? Only what the country should be doing for them.
Right.
They don't have pride
That's so true.
in themselves. That's wrong. When I was an officer in the Army, I served with so many great Americans who embraced their responsibility to our country.
Yes.
I'm so proud of their sacrifices and the opportunity it has provided for so many millions. America remains a land of opportunity, no matter what the other side says or believes. You know, there's a statue of me at Notre Dame. I guess they needed a place for the pigeons to land. But if you look closely, you will see these three words there: trust, commitment, and love. All my life, I've made my choices based on these three words.
It's nice.
I use these three rules to make choices about everything. My beloved wife of 59 years.
That's incredible. He's been married for
coach,
59 years.
And of course, politicians.
She won't leave.
Even President Trump. I ask myself three things.
What are they?
One,
Those three things.
Can I trust them?
Yes.
When a leader tells you something, you got to be able to count on it.
All right. Number two.
That's President Trump.
It is.
He says what he means.
What he
means
says.
what he says. And he's done what he said he would do at every single
For the most
turn.
part, sure.
One of the important reasons he has my trust is because nobody has been a stronger advocate for the unborn
That's right.
than President
That's a
Trump.
fact.
That is a fact.
The Biden-Harris ticket is the most radically pro-abortion campaign in history.
Yes.
They and other politicians are Catholics in name only and abandon
Oh, that
innocent
pissed him
lives.
off. Pause it for a
President
second.
Trump.
There's a Jesuit priest who's pretty upset about that. But it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. They don't like to be called out for it, but come on.
So be it.
Yeah, whatever. It's pretty clear that you're not. I mean, you're picking and choosing what you're gonna take out of Catholicism when you're pro-abortion like that, and you're making policy.
Because of that, you're picking and choosing.
Yep.
Never mind that.
All right, let's see some more of this.
Are Catholics in name only and abandon innocent lives.
Yes.
President Trump protects those lives. I trust President Trump. The second question I ask is are they committed to doing their very best? President Trump always finds a way to get something done. If you want to do something bad enough, you will find a way.
That's right.
If not, you'll find an excuse.
Think about it.
And excuses are a lot easier to find than solutions.
Excuses
President
are like...
Trump finds solutions.
Well, I won't say that.
President Trump
That's what
is committed. And the third question I ask is, do they love people? Do they care about others? To me, this is very clear. President Trump has demonstrated through his prison reform, advocating for school choice and welfare reform, that he wants Americans from all walks of life to have the opportunity to succeed and live the American dream. President Trump loves our country and our great people.
That's true.
Trust, commitment, and love. In President Trump, we have a president we can trust, who works hard at making America greater.
Yes.
And who genuinely cares about people.
Thank you, Lou.
If
Lou
I
Holtz,
apply this
everybody.
test to
Lou
Joe
Holtz.
Biden,
No, Lou,
I
thank
can't
you.
say yes to any of these three questions. I used to ask our athletes at Notre Dame,
Yeah.
if you did not show up, who would miss you and why? Can you imagine what would happen to us if President Trump had not shown up in 2016 to run
Actually,
for
I can't.
president?
What year was it? Was
I'm
it
so glad you
2017?
showed
No,
up.
it's 2006.
Thank you for showing up, Mr. President.
That's great.
I encourage everyone
All right, we got
who
it.
loves this
Thanks,
country.
No, but he's not.
A little later, he did a song for the Democrats in their honor. So it was really good. The song that he sang about Democrats
Right.
went a little something like this from Lou Holtz. You're despicable. That's what you are. Yes, despicable. You're a Marxist star. Commie garbage permeates from you. Democrats, it's you I'm talking to. Never before have you ever missed Al Gore. Yes, you're despicable in every way. You kill babies every single day. That's why Democrats, it's incredible that someone so incredibly despicable thinks that I am so despicable too. But I'm not, it's you. You are, I'm not.
Lou Holtz, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good night. Drive,
Thank you.
drive safely. Drive safely, everyone. See you later.
Thank you, Lou. Man, I am so bummed I went to bed and I missed that.
Yeah, you
last
missed that
night.
part? That was the best part.
So bummed.
Yeah. Really good song, I thought.
Yeah, I would
from
like
him.
to see that live.
Should not make fun of it because he's obviously got a sort of a thing.
Oh, he
there.
did.
But I don't think he cares. He's probably heard that before. But he is he's a good motivational speaker.
Yes, he is.
He's made a really good living on that.
Yes, he is. Oh, look, that's what great coaches are.
Yes.
I mean,
Right. And so I did not. I mean, I knew he was conservative. I didn't know he was that big a Trump supporter that they would have him featured at the RNC. That's impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
And, for a guy like that, can you imagine the flack that's going to come his way? I suppose other people like me knew he was conservative, but then it's one thing to know you're somewhat
Yes, it
conservative.
is.
It's another to be part of the RNC convention.
Yeah, to come out and just have that right in your face.
Oh, man. And talk about how great Trump is the whole time. Wow.
But look, Lou Holtz, what is he? He's like 100 now?
83. I looked it up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Because he's, I mean, he looks great for 83. He looks about the same as when he was coaching Notre Dame.
He's living in Orlando. What are you going to do to Lou Holtz?
Yeah,
what are you going to do to Lou Holtz? What are you going to do? He's married to the same woman. He still loves his wife.
59
he's got
years.
His kids.
Yeah.
He's got his family. What are you going to do to Lou Holtz?
That's true.
I mean, really, seriously,
that's true.
Lou's like,
that's probably what he figures too.
Yeah,
right.
Come at me.
Bring it. Bring it. All right, let me take.
We're not having college football this year anyway. Go ahead. Bring it.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are, my friend. Let me take 60 seconds and tell you about Patriot Mobile. While the left is embracing the cancel culture, maybe we should get in on a little of that action and cancel your left-wing supporting cell phone provider. Make the switch to America's only conservative cell phone carrier, Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile shares your values. They won't charge hidden fees. And unlike Big Mobile, they won't send your hard-earned money to Planned Parenthood or some other left-wing cause. And you get the same reliable nationwide service. You support a company that loves this country, shares your values, supports our Constitution, and puts people before profits. They make it easy for you to switch to because, yeah, I know the hassle, just nobody wants to deal with it. So they've taken the hassle out of it. You can bring your phone to the new arrangement. You can bring your phone number to the new arrangement, or you could get a new phone and a new phone number. It's up to you. Right now, when you join their family of freedom-loving Americans, you'll get free activation plus a free gift when you use the offer code PAT. 972-PATRIOT's the number to call, 972-PATRIOT or patriotmobile.com/PAT to get started on your customized family plan that starts as low as $25 a month. 972-PATRIOT or patriotmobile.com/PAT.
You're listening to Pat Gray Unleashed.
You know who else was brave last night? Just taking a courageous stand. Damn, the torpedoes were going full speed ahead. Jack Brewer.
Yes.
Former NFL star Jack Brewer, who was really good. I think he really kicked the convention into gear last night.
Yeah, I mean, he was great.
Let's take a look at what he had to say. Yeah.
He came out, I was like, okay,
yeah.
Jack Brewer, great.
I know. And then he set the place on fire. It was great. Here he is.
I'm Jack Brewer, a former 3-time NFL team captain, college professor, coach, husband, son, and father.
Whatever.
I'm also a lifelong Democrat, but I support Donald Trump. Let me be clear. I didn't come here for the popularity or the praise, the likes or the retweets. I'm here as a servant to God, a servant to the people of our nation, and a servant to our president. I grew up in Grapevine, Texas, a town that my great-grandfather was the first black man to settle as a sharecropper in 1896. Wow. My early high school experience included fighting with skinheads and being a witness in an attempted murder trial after my friend shot a skinhead in self-defense. I remember my dad's bravery when he personally stood up against a KKK rally in my town. In my house, my father taught me to back down from no one. I know what racism looks like. I've seen it firsthand. In America, it has no resemblance to President Trump. And I'm fed up with the way he's portrayed in the media, who refuse to acknowledge what he's actually done for the black community. It's confusing the minds of our innocent children. Before I left to come deliver this message, my energetic 8-year-old son, Jackson, stopped me and said, "Dad, can you please just tell everyone that all lives need to matter and that God loves everyone?"
Wow.
In that moment, I realized that my 8-year-old had figured out what so many adults have seemed to forget. We are not as divided as our politics suggest. At some point, for the sake of our children, the policies must take priority over the personalities. So because you have an issue with President Trump's tone, you're going to allow Biden and Harris to deny our underserved black and brown children school choice? Are we so offended by the president's campaign slogan, "Make America Great Again," that we're going to ignore that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have collectively been responsible for locking up countless black men for nonviolent crimes? Are you going to allow the media to lie to you by falsely claiming that he said there were very fine white supremacists in Charlottesville? He didn't say that.
Thank you.
It's a lie.
Thank you.
And ignore the so-called Black Lives Matter organization that openly, on their website, calls for the destruction of the nuclear family. My fellow Americans, our families need each other. We need black fathers in the homes with their wives and children. The future of our communities depend on it. I'm blessed to be able to run inner city youth programs and to also teach in prisons across America. The inmates in my federal prison program literally receive days off their sentence just for attending my class. And that's thanks to President Donald Trump and his First Step Act. President Trump cared about these Americans and their families, even when so many others had left them behind and had written them off. I'm forever grateful for President Trump for that. He endures relentless attacks, and so do many of us, like myself, who support him. But my mama always told me, when the Lord starts blessing, the devil starts messing.
Think about it.
This convention marks a time to celebrate our history. Republicans are the party that freed the slaves the party that put the first black men and women in Congress.
Right.
It's the party of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. And now, Tim Scott and Donald Trump. Our president has made incredible strides to end mass incarceration and give unprecedented opportunities for black in America to rise. America, let this election be a call for all God's people who are called by his name to humble ourselves and pray together and to seek his face and to turn from our wicked ways. Then he will hear us from heaven and he will forgive our sins and he will heal our land. Amen. And God bless America.
Wow.
Hello.
Pretty powerful. I mean, we've had some good speeches from blacks at this convention. That's right up there with the best of them.
There's a couple more that happened last night as well.
Yeah.
That were neck and neck with Jack.
Man, I mean, really good stuff. To call him out on the lie about the really fine people being about the neo-Nazis. Everybody, that's been so disproven now, and they just keep saying it over and over and over again.
And they did last night as well during his speech with their in-speech fact checks.
Oh, my God. And when was that a thing last week?
In-speech fact checks?
Yeah. Did they do that to the Democrats? Did they do that?
Not so much that I remember. Not so much that I remember.
I mean, I didn't watch MSNBC because I can't handle it.
But I mean, on social media, that's what I follow it there, and most of it was our side. I saying I can't take it. That's a lie, but I don't know that.
Wow.
I don't know that there was. I don't remember seeing the thorough in-speech fact check.
Yeah, I don't think there was. Maybe I'm wrong on that because again, I can't watch CNN under circumstances like these. When you stop in the middle and then start fact checking and calling into question the things that are being said without letting it even roll through the night and let them get done with the convention, or at least that portion of it, and then you can have your say. I mean, that's the way it used to be anyway.
No more.
They'd let them get through the convention, and then at the end, you might get some opinion, you might get some feedback, some pushback. But during and immediately following every speech?
And I mean, a lot of them are just, pausing the speech. Come back to us. We can't take any more of that.
Jeez. It's amazing. It's amazing to see, and they're just absolutely shameless about it. They don't care about being journalists or news people anymore. And they're clearly not. They're not journalists or news people. So I guess we shouldn't expect anything different from them.
No, we should not.
Because this is just the way the world is now.
Yep.
And if you're watching CNN, if you're watching MSNBC, you're just going to get, they're basically the media wing of the Democrat Party. That's all they are now.
Yeah.
They're not news organizations. They'd say the same thing about Fox. But, even if Fox is the media wing of the Trump administration, he needs at least one, right? Be good. At least somebody is there for for that perspective because everybody else has just stacked up against him.
I mean,
everybody.
At least, for a good portion, C-SPAN is just airing the convention, which I'm in love with.
Because, so is OAN.
Because
One American Network.
I just can't take someone starts to speak and then we have to go back for commentary.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't
want
need that.
No.
I don't like that.
I don't either. Just let's hear them out. Let's hear it out. Let's see what happens.
Right. The other thing I'd like to know, because I didn't watch Fox do the DNC last week either. I just watched it on the feeds.
Yeah, I did too.
Did Fox do the same thing to the Democrats? I'd like to know about that.
Oh, I don't know that. That's a good question.
Maybe somebody can tell us if they watched Fox last week.
If they broke
Did
into
they
the
break
speeches?
in after every single speech and give you the opposing point of view? Because, again, I think that's despicable. I think it's absolutely despicable.
And some of them, I mean, they break it. It's not even after the speech. It's like they're in the middle of it. Okay, that's Bill. Yeah, we're done with Bill. Let's talk about. No, Bill's still speaking. You still have him in the background. I still want to hear Bill.
Right. Yeah, they can't even let him get through the speech before they're jumping on it. All right, let's go to Lori D. Lori D in New Mexico. You're on the Blaze. Hi.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
I'm not going to ask you how you're doing because I don't care, but let's get right to the point.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in Milwaukee, and what I'm seeing right now in Kenosha is, I'm going to cry, is breaking my heart.
Yeah.
And I need to give you guys a little bit of a background on how racist Milwaukee is from the ground up. They have borders around the city. And I grew up in one of the white suburbs called Wauwatosa. And the city would go from the Lake Michigan out to 60th Street on the west side. And I grew up on 72nd Street. And if you crossed over 60th Street, you would have whitey. If you went to the east side of 60th Street, you would have the worst crime in the history of the world. And for some reason, the Democrats, the white Democrats who have been running that city sorry, my dogs are fighting right now. I apologize. I know you're hearing my dogs. But they have control over that city, and it's disgusting. The high school that I went to, Wauwatosa East, the athletic director was quoted as saying in our school newspaper, well, we have to bus in our basketball team. That's how racist.
Wow.
That's how racist Milwaukee is. So when to see Kenosha burn, and Kenosha is a small town. It's not a city. People keep saying the city of Kenosha. No, you drive through it on your way to get to your sectionals and regionals. That's it. Because we always kick their ass. And I just, it's so frustrating to see this place that I grew up loving. Mm-hmm. I did not realize how racist it was until I left. And I realized that, oh my gosh, my athletic director just loved busing for sports. And then it was, okay, these were my friends, but it was like social engineering. And I graduated from high school in 1995. So I'm a lot younger than y'all.
I don't know about a lot. I graduated in 91.
Please.
What was your graduation year, Jeffy?
I mean, I haven't even graduated yet, so
really?
Don't even start with
me. Well, that's probably true. He probably never will graduate.
He'll graduate in 2118. But no, you guys, this is one of the most racist areas in the country, and it's been run by white Democrats
forever.
50, 60, 70 years, and it's not anything else that's... I grew up with it thinking it's normal, and I moved to Arizona, and I went, oh my gosh, I can actually make friends with people of different color, and it's okay.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Lori.
I mean, she's probably living on like 10th or 11th Street now instead of 60th.
I mean, things have changed, though. We'll get into that coming up here in a second.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, got some tweets here. Oh, the humanity tweets. Is it just me, or whenever you hear a speech impediment, can you not wait to hear Pat imitate it? Okay, I'm not sure that's a good thing, but okay. That shows that someone's a little juvenile, right?
Someone is. Someone is, yes.
I'm not sure who.
Yes.
I think it's you. I think it's you, Jeffy. Mike tweets, my 8-year-old son and I cannot stop laughing at Pat's impression of Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz.
It's a hit.
Yeah, okay.
It's another hit.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only...
They just keep coming, right? The hits just keep coming. From Corey Pa, Lou Holtz has got some nads telling everyone exactly where to find his statue. No kidding. Watch it be ripped down and torn to shreds. Shall not be infringed, tweets, I love Lou Holtz, but he sounds like he's reading a voiceover script for a cartoon. Kinda, yeah. Caffeinated Texan, we got Jeffy to say, think about it. My day's complete. Pink Floyd 53, suffering succotash, Lou. Laugh track, that's true. I've had all I can stand and I can't stand anymore. Joshua Gold, Fox did break in. Oh, okay. Fox did break in after each speaker at the DNC watched it from Israel.
In the middle?
I guess
I'd be
so.
interested. Okay, so,
I guess so.
After each one.
So I guess it's fair play, right?
I hope so. I hope that's true.
I guess it's fair play. Shall not be infringed, tweets, holy cow, Jack Brewer, another rabid white supremacist, giving a hate-filled speech at the RNC.
I know.
I thought we were watching a Klan rally for a minute. Dennis Rogers, you should check out Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon state that they didn't speech check the Democrats last week because they don't lie like Trump does. Oh my gosh.
That's great.
That's just amazing. Okay. Night 3, we'd love to hear your thoughts on night 3 of the big RNC extravaganza. We've got some of what Clarence Henderson had to say. You know, it started to get good. I think after they dropped the suffrage celebration, I don't. Okay, I got it. Women can vote. They've been voting certainly my whole life and well beyond that. I get it. Women can vote.
I mean, it's been 100 years.
It's been 100 years. Okay, calm down.
We let you vote. Wins dinner. I mean, what more do you want?
Now get me a beer.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Thank you for summing it up just that tenderly. I appreciate that, Jeffy. Golly. Okay. And, I mean, if you're to look at the polls, women are about 65-35 Biden over Trump. Maybe we shouldn't have given them the right to vote. Maybe we need to take that back a little bit. Take an inventory and reevaluate how that's working out for us.
Oh, did I forget to come home and pick you up and take you to the polls? Gosh darn it.
All right. 888-900-3393. Here's some of what Clarence Henderson said last night.
Greetings, my fellow Americans. I am Clarence Henderson. There have been movements that have changed the course of history. Among the most extraordinary was the Civil Rights Movement. 60 years ago, segregation was legal and enforced.
Pause it for a second. By the way, I believe Clarence is one of the original lunch counter protesters, right?
That's correct. Yes.
So he's a big-time civil rights activist.
From Greensboro in 1960. I mean, he was one of the first ones.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, he's one of the first ones that did the sit-ins in Greensboro.
So this is impressive. I mean,
yes.
They revered John Lewis, and rightly so, for his activism in the 60s. How about this guy? What, because he's now campaigning for Trump? He should be completely erased from history?
Or just a conservative at all.
Right. All right, let's listen to this.
Enforced. The simple act of sitting at a lunch counter could lead to physical harm, jail time, or worse.
It's incredible.
I know from personal experience. Walking into Woolworth department store on February 2nd, 1960, I knew it was unlike any day I'd experienced before. My friends had been denied service the day before because of the color of their skin. We knew it wasn't right.
No kidding.
But when we went back the next day, I didn't know whether I was going to come out in a vertical or prone position, in handcuffs or on a stretcher, or even in a body bag. By sitting down to order a cup of coffee, we challenged injustice. We knew it was necessary, but we didn't know what would happen. We faced down the KKK. We were cursed at and called all kinds of names. They threatened to kill us, and some of us were arrested, but it was worth it. Our actions inspired similar protests throughout the South against racial injustice. And in the end, segregation was abolished, and our country moved a step closer to true equality for all. That's what actual peaceful protest can accomplish. America isn't perfect. We're always improving. But the great thing about this country is that it's not where you come from, it's where you're going.
Wow.
I was born on what some would call the wrong side of the tracks. I don't even have a birth certificate. I never attended an integrated school, and I'm the only one out of my immediate family who graduated from college and HBCU. I'm a military veteran
Just
and
to
a
fire
civil
him
rights
up a little bit
activist.
more.
And you know what else?
What?
I'm a Republican.
Uh-oh.
And I
Oh,
support
those are
Donald
fighting
Trump.
words. Okay,
If that sounds
he's
strange-
just great. Now, Democrats mock him, attack him. Let's see you come after him because he supports Donald Trump. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yes, it is. It's
fantastic,
incredible, and I mean, he has an incredible story. But they don't attack; they just ignore.
Yes. The ones they can't attack, they can't refute. They just don't mention.
Ignore.
They just don't mention.
Was he someone else speaking?
Oh, I didn't even know he spoke. That's weird. Must have slept through that. All right, let me tell you about ScoreMaster. Did you know that the average American has 97 points they can add to their credit score? And they have no idea how to get them, of course, but ScoreMaster does. ScoreMaster is the new credit science that super boosts your credit score. You forget about raising your credit score 7 points or 12 points. I raised my credit score from 500 to 512 in just over 3 years. Oh, okay. Wow. Congratulations. That's weak. The average ScoreMaster user raises their credit score 61 points in 20 days or less. 61 points. That'll make a difference in your life. Say your credit score was in the high 500s to mid 600s when you bought that new car. Now, if you'd gone to ScoreMaster first and raised your credit score, just the average 61 points our listeners get, you could have saved $9,000 on your car loan. It's always weirded me out that, if you got some dings in your credit, you probably have had some financial difficulties. So what they do is make it even harder on you. By raising your interest rate. Oh, okay. You're having a tough time.
How about we kick you?
How about we kick you when you're down? You got an 18% interest rate.
We're giving you the loan.
Right. You're getting the loan. You just pay us 18%. Don't worry about it. ScoreMaster puts you in control of your finances, not the banks. You enroll in just minutes and see how many points, how many plus points ScoreMaster can add to your credit score. Visit scoremaster.com/Pat. That's scoremaster.com/Pat.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
And I love the fact the RNC has taken on abortion this week. So great. Because it's a ballsy move. All you get is flack from the other side. They're going to yell and scream that you don't care about women, that you're not into women's rights, the reproductive rights. You just want people to die when it is they who are actually killing people. So Sister Deidre Byrne spoke about abortion last night. Here she is talking about abortion. Cut 6.
And while we tend to think of the marginalized as living beyond our borders, the truth is the largest marginalized group in the world can be found here in the United States. They are the unborn. As Christians, we first met Jesus as a stirring embryo in the womb of an unwed mother and saw him born 9 months later in the poverty of the cave. It's no coincidence that Jesus stood up for what was just and was ultimately crucified because what he said wasn't politically correct or fashionable. As followers of Christ, we are called to stand up for life against the politically correct or fashionable of today. We must fight against a legislative agenda that supports and even celebrates destroying life in the womb. Keep in mind, the laws we create define how we see our humanity. And we must ask ourselves, what are we saying when we go into a womb and snuff out an innocent, powerless, voiceless life? As a physician, I can say without hesitation, life begins at conception. While what I have to say may be difficult for some to hear, I am saying it because I'm not just pro-life, I'm pro-eternal life, and I want all of us to end up in heaven together someday.
Me too.
Which brings me to why I'm here today. Donald Trump is the most pro-life president that this nation has ever had, defending life at all stages. His belief in the sanctity of life transcends politics. President Trump will stand up against Biden-Harris, who are the most anti-life presidential ticket ever, even supporting the horrors of late-term abortion and infanticide. Because of his courage and conviction, President Trump has earned the support of America's pro-life community. Moreover, he has a nationwide of religious standing behind him. You'll find us here with our weapon of choice, the rosary. So thank you, Mr. President. We are all praying for you.
Nice.
I know.
It's nice. Argue with her. Mock her. Scream and yell and attack her.
Oh, she's done nothing with her life.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, she was in the Army for, was it 39 years or something?
Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel. She's a physician.
She might have even just been a colonel.
She's
I wrote it down.
A physician. She is, now obviously a nun. Is that what you still call them? Or are they something else now? Right. Sisters?
Yeah. Retired Army Colonel. Yeah, not Lieutenant Colonel.
A retired Army Colonel.
Yeah.
She's done a couple of things in her life.
And then, sure, she's an MD. Sure.
Okay. And a doctor.
Whatever.
What? That's an amazing life of
I
service.
know.
That's crazy.
I know.
Makes you feel like a slug, doesn't
sure
it?
As heck does.
Less than a slug. Jeez. Wow. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. I guess we have the evidence of the discussion between Chris Cuomo. This is going to be hard to take. Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon talking about how they don't have to fact check the Democrats.
I want them to be trained in community policing. How it is a Jedi mind trick that I don't understand how people are not getting this.
Jedi mind trick. This isn't even R2-D2. That's politics, Don. You're running for this party. I'm demonizing this party. Everything that's bad is your fault. Everything that's not going well on my watch, you're either lying about or you're engineering somehow on the sneaky side.
What?
And again,
what are you talking
well,
about?
who are people going to believe? We'll see who makes the better case.
Yes, we will.
And yeah, you can fact check it to death. We could fact check this convention all night. People who are saying you didn't fact check the Democrats, they are not lying the way Trump does.
Okay,
the politicians lie.
This
guy's a liar.
Oh my God!
We spent the week watching that god awful thing, saying, they know that's not the truth.
Yeah.
They know that's not the truth, and yet they continue to speak it.
Every single person who got up and spoke last week lied. Every single one of them lied. They lied about Trump. They lied about their own agenda. They lied about their successes. They lied about everything. And of course, they don't need to be fact checked. Wow, that is pathetic and irresponsible. Jeez, that.
Like whatever.
And then there's her. Oh, that's agonizing, isn't it?
That
is just absolutely agonizing.
I'm sorry I missed that.
Yeah, really sorry.
Makes me want to tune in.
Let's show you Burgess Owens from last night. Another great speech.
I love this man.
He's awesome. Here he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Burgess Owens. Shackled in the belly of a slave ship, an 8-year-old boy named Silas Burgess came to America to be sold on an auction block. By the grace of God and the courage of slaves who believed in freedom, Silas escaped through the Underground Railroad and settled in the great state of Texas. He went on to become a successful entrepreneur. He built his community's first church, first elementary school, and purchased 102 acres of farmland, which he paid off in 2 years.
Wow.
I'm here today, a candidate for Congress, because of my great-great-grandfather, Silas Burgess. I was raised in the South during the days of Jim Crow and the KKK. Even through the challenges of segregation, we were taught that anything is possible in America. When I was 22 years old, I thought all my dreams had come true when I was drafted by the New York Jets. 10 years later, with a Pro Bowl nod and a Super Bowl championship under my belt, I left the NFL to start a business. I thought I could never fail, but years later I did, and I lost everything. As I moved my family of 6 into a one-bedroom basement apartment in Brooklyn, New York, I had a choice to make. To feel sorry for myself or get to work.
Which did you do?
I worked as a chimney sweep during the day and a security guard at night.
That's cool.
It was humbling to be recognized cleaning a chimney by someone who once cheered me as an NFL fan.
Pause it for a second.
But those hard days.
Can you imagine?
I've been a chimney sweep.
You have not been a chimney sweep.
Yes, I have.
You've been a chimney sweep.
I was a chimney sweep for about a month.
You have not.
Okay. I'm just saying, it's amazing. We'll get back to Burgess. But you asked me if I can imagine I can. I can't imagine being recognized. Well, you can't imagine
being recognized in the NFL as a Pro Bowl athlete.
I mean, they said to me, you're a little bit athletically overweight to be a chimney sweep, aren't you? I mean, I can relate to that.
You fall down that chimney, you're not coming out, okay? Because they'd have to tear down the whole house to get you out of there, and they're not going to do that. So you're just going to be rotting in there for a good long time.
You obviously have not been a chimney sweep.
No, I have not been a chimney sweep. I will admit to that. I've seen Mary Poppins, though. Does that qualify as anything? Yes. All right, we'll finish up with Burgess Owens coming up because that's amazing stuff.
There is.
Thanks for being here with us. 888-933-93 and at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Night 3 of the RNC. I thought after a really slow start, it kind of kicked into gear. Maybe 45 minutes in.
Yes.
So it was really good when they got to Jack Brewer and Lou Holtz and Sister Deidre Byrne and Burgess Owens, who's been here many times. We've talked to him in person on the phone. Really good guy.
Great man.
Did not know about being a chimney sweep.
I know. There must be one. Like, he does corporate speeches and stuff. That's one of the ways that he, actually feeds his family.
Yep.
And I've talked to him a bunch, like you said. We all have. And I've heard the story of him starting a business and losing everything, but not the specifics of what he did to get back on his feet.
Yeah.
And that's amazing, right?
It is
did
amazing.
what he have to.
Yeah. Let's start over and just and see what he had to say last night, because very inspiring. Here's Burgess Owens.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Burgess Owens. Shackled in the belly of a slave ship, an 8-year-old boy named Silas Burgess came to America to be sold on an auction block. By the grace of God and the courage of slaves who believed in freedom, Silas escaped through the Underground Railroad and settled in the great state of Texas. He went on to become a successful entrepreneur. He built his community's first church, first elementary school, and purchased 102 acres of farmland, which he paid off in 2 years. I'm here today, a candidate for Congress, because of my great-great-grandfather, Silas Burgess. I was raised in the South during the days of Jim Crow and the KKK. Even through the challenges of segregation, we were taught that anything is possible in America. When I was 22 years old, I thought all my dreams had come true when I was drafted by the New York Jets. 10 years later, with a Pro Bowl nod and a Super Bowl championship under my belt, I left the NFL to start a business. I thought I could never fail, but years later I did, and I lost everything. As I moved my family of 6 into a one-bedroom basement apartment in Brooklyn, New York, I had a choice to make: to feel sorry for myself or get to work.
Which did you do?
I worked as a chimney sweep during the day and a security guard at night. It was humbling to be recognized cleaning a chimney by someone who once cheered me as an NFL fan.
Seriously.
But those hard days would pay off, and eventually I started a rewarding career in the corporate world. We live in a country we're encouraged to dream big, where second chances are at the core of our American DNA.
Mm-hmm.
We don't hear that same message from Nancy Pelosi's Congress.
That's for sure.
Career politicians, elitists, and even a former bartender want us to believe it's impossible. They want us to believe that what I did, what my great-great-grandfather did, is impossible for ordinary Americans.
Yep.
As patriots,
how insulting
we know
is
better.
that? Pause it for a second. How insulting is that, by the way?
Thank you.
That, they've done it, but you can't do it. You can't do it. You're pathetic and you're being held down. You're a victim.
Right.
Acknowledge that fact that you're a victim. Wallow in the fact that you're a victim. Burgess didn't. And look at him. Look at him. Plus, he got super successful, lost it all, then got super successful all over again. That's an amazing country where that can happen.
It sure is.
And by the way, he didn't have white privilege. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Wait.
Did not have white privilege. No. So it's an amazing story.
What if he didn't realize it? I mean, he just didn't know it, and he had it.
That he didn't know that he had white privilege, but he did.
We're led to believe that even you're a racist, even if you don't know that you're a racist.
Right.
So
That's true.
do you have white privilege?
True. Maybe.
Even if you don't know you have white privilege.
That's possible.
That's their belief.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their belief, right?
Yep.
So he had it.
And that's a guy who really experienced racism.
Yeah.
Growing up in the South under Jim Crow, KKK still active. There's a guy who knows what racism is all about, and he knows it firsthand. Lori D called a while ago and talking about how racist it is in Milwaukee, in the suburbs there.
Now, this is a northern town, right? I mean, I grew up in a northern town in Michigan as well, and
segregated,
absolutely segregated. The west side of town was for the white folks, and the east side of town was predominantly for the black folks. And,
and you didn't.
There was not a whole lot of mingling. Now there was in the end, before I left. But prior to that, no.
Well, I grew up, as you know, on the mean streets of Helena.
Right.
And that's where the west side of town was white, and the east side of town was white.
What about?
But the north side of town was white, and the south side of town was white.
What about
but right in the middle, right in the heart of the city, downtown district,
downtown, the actual mean streets.
You're talking the urban area of Helena, Montana. White. It was white. So
you actually lived it.
I lived it.
You lived it.
I know of what I speak. I lived it. White people everywhere you go. It was horrifying. It was horrifying. I mean, what kind of freak would live there? That's horrifying. I think literally when I was growing up in Helena, everybody knew there was one black family in town. One.
And everybody knew it.
Not exactly a real diverse place to grow up. So it's not that anybody kept them. I don't think they just didn't want to live there. They didn't want the bullets flying over their head at all times.
Right.
They didn't want that.
Right.
I can't blame them. Can't blame them. Plus, it's cold.
Yeah. Oh.
It's cold in them thar hills. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. So did we miss anything? Laura Trump was great last night. I thought she was really, really good. What is it they're saying about her speech? That they're fact checking.
I don't know what they said about Laura Trump. I couldn't get past
the what?
I was just surprised. I mean, she looks great.
She does look great.
She looks great.
So what couldn't you
get
get
past?
past?
Another Trump on.
Yeah. And so what are you alleging?
I'm not alleging anything. I'm just saying that she's. I'm just saying I was surprised that she's had the work done that she's had.
Not had work done. Not every woman has had. She's 37. She hasn't had work done.
I would bet a lot of money.
I would too.
That's not true.
It is true.
No, it's not.
She looks completely natural.
Of course she. I didn't say it was bad work.
Where has she had work done then?
Just a few things tightened up here.
No, she hasn't. No, absolutely not. I don't buy that.
Couple of shots here and there.
Absolutely not.
100%.
You know who we're missing is Madison Cawthorn.
Yes, he was great. I wish I could vote for him in North Carolina.
Was fantastic. I'd never heard of him before.
I hadn't either.
So he made a pretty good debut last night.
Yes, he did.
Madison Cawthorn.
Good evening. I'm Madison Cawthorn, and I'm running to represent North Carolina's 11th Congressional District. This is a time of great adversity for our country, and I know something about adversity.
No kidding.
At 18 years old, I was in a horrific car accident that's left me paralyzed from the waist down. Instantly, my hopes and dreams were seemingly destroyed. I was given a 1% chance of surviving.
Wow.
But thanks to the power of prayer, a very loving community, and many skilled doctors, I made it. It took me over a year to recover. My first public outing in a wheelchair was to a professional baseball game. You know, before my accident, I was 6'3". I stood out in the crowd. But as I wheeled through the stadium, I felt invisible. At 20, I thought about giving up. However, I knew I could still make a difference. You know, my accident has given me new eyes to see and new ears to hear. God protected my mind and my ability to speak. So I say to people who feel forgotten, ignored, and invisible, I see you. I hear you. At 20, I made a choice. In 2020, our country has a choice. We can give up on the American idea, or we can work together to make our imperfect union more perfect. I choose to fight for the future, to seize the high ground and retake the shining city on a hill. While the radical left wants to dismantle, defund, and destroy, Republicans, under President Trump's leadership, want to rebuild, restore, and renew. I just turned 25. When I'm elected this November, I'll be the youngest member of Congress in over 200 years.
Wow.
And if you don't think young people can change the world, then you just don't know American history. George Washington was 21 when he received his first military commission. Abe Lincoln, 22 when he first ran for office. And my personal favorite, James Madison, was just 25 years old when he signed the Declaration of Independence. In times of peril, young people have stepped up and saved this country, abroad and at home. We held the line, scaled the cliffs, crossed oceans, liberated camps, and cracked codes. Yet today, political forces want to usher in the digital dark ages, a time of information without wisdom and tribalism without truth. National leaders on the left have normalized emotion-based voting and a radicalized identity politics that rejects Martin Luther King's dream. MLK's dream is our dream, for all Americans to be judged solely on their character. Millions of people risk their lives every year to come here because they believe in the dream of MLK and the American dream. Join us as we, the Party of Freedom, double down on ensuring the American dream for all people. We are committed to building a new town square. It welcomes all ideas and all people. Here we will have freedom of speech, not freedom from speech. To liberals, I say let's have a conversation. Be a true liberal. Listen to other ideas and let the best ones prevail.
Way to call them out.
And
Nice.
to conservatives, I say let's define what we support and win the argument in areas like healthcare and on the environment. In this new town square, you don't have to apologize for your beliefs or cower to a mob. You can kneel before God, but stand for our flag.
Nice.
The American idea my ancestors fought for during the Revolutionary War is just as exciting and revolutionary today as it was 250 years ago. I say to Americans who love our country, young and old, be a radical for freedom. Be a radical for liberty. And be a radical for our republic, for which I stand. One nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and may God bless America.
That's good stuff. It's good stuff.
I know. For those of you listening on Blaze Radio, I mean, he obviously is in a wheelchair. And they brought him a
walker.
A walker to stand up there at the end.
And he did.
And he did.
That's great. That was really great. Really powerful. 25 years old. You talk about, we've seen some rising stars.
Yes, we have.
That we can turn to in the future. It's really kind of given me some renewed hope about the condition
Did you feel that you needed renewed hope after last week?
Yeah, I did. Yes.
You feel like
Isn't that amazing?
you needed hope.
Yeah.
Little country, that's strange.
Uh-huh. It's just only because they crushed my will completely last week.
I mean, there's still a whole bunch of other stuff going on around the country that may crush it a little bit.
Oh, yes. Yes, there's still a ton of stuff. But then you see a guy like that who has had
feel better.
An incredible tragedy in his life. And then you see his attitude and his determination. And it kind of strengthens you and bolsters you a bit. And it also makes you feel a little bit like a slug again, as many people did last night.
Well, there's a whole bunch of people that make you feel like that.
Yes, no question.
I mean, you are barking up the wrong tree with me to feel like that, my friend.
All right, let me take a minute, tell you about Real Estate Agents I Trust. If you are looking to buy or sell a home, you need a realtor that, well, you can trust. Somebody with a really good track record, somebody who's been there and done that, somebody who knows your market, and they've got great marketing plans. They're just not one-trick ponies. They can get you. They can give you incredible advice, like, okay, do I need to repaint or should I skip that? Do I need to replace countertops or can I skip that? They'll help you through that process because, they've sold a lot of homes. And if you're buying a home, you want somebody to see you through that process as well. When you're making the biggest investment you'll ever make in your life. realestateagentsitrust.com. The name kind of says it all. realestateagentsitrust.com. That's realestateagentsitrust.com. How bummed are you that the NBA boycotted their games yesterday? That hurt a lot.
Right?
I wasn't going to watch it anyway, but then I really wasn't going to watch it once they boycotted.
Well,
I was even more committed to not watching the games once they didn't happen.
I wish you hadn't brought it up because I was
yeah, I know. I hate to kick back into gear the whole depression thing.
So I'm not really sure.
So rather than saying, all right, Milwaukee Bucks, either get out on the floor or you forfeit the game. They shut it all down. And then the MLB.
Oh, look what the NBA did. We can't be outdone by the NBA. Let's us stop these games too.
And then somebody else too. Was it soccer? I don't know. Field hockey.
Doing?
Field hockey stopped. The swimming, diving competitions came to a screeching halt.
And the players, we probably didn't even been here to begin with. I felt wrong about being here to begin with. The whole bubble thing.
Then
what are you doing?
Home. Go home then. Go home. And by the way, NBA's not playing. And so, what is that going to do? Now you fixed it. Whoa, that's okay. If they're not going to play, then
and Doc Rivers.
Guess we better shape up and stop being racist,
Doc
right?
Doc Rivers, the coach of the Clippers.
Oh, don't even get me started on Doc Rivers.
I mean,
that just pisses me off. I mean, here's what he said. We keep loving this country, and this country doesn't love us back, said the man as he was depositing his $7 million paycheck into the bank.
I know.
Shut up.
We're the ones that were denied to live in certain communities. We've been hung. We've been shot. And all you do is keep hearing about fear. Doc, when's the last time did anyone ever?
Yeah.
Ever. Maybe when he was a child, someone said, you can't live here. But I doubt it. I
mean, it's just
maybe if his parents wanted to move into the mean streets, they were told, no,
right.
You can't live here. But any other place in America, I doubt it.
The NBA is dead to me. You're dead to me. I just don't care. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to watch your games. Are they not going to play until, I don't know, whatever? Have they sworn it off now?
Until there's the world is living in perfect harmony.
Yes, okay.
That's when they'll start playing again.
When Ebony and Ivory live together in perfect harmony.
Yes.
Like on our piano keyboard. Oh, Lord, why can't we? And when that day finally comes, the NBA basketball playoffs can resume. But not until then, my friend. Not until then.
Now, we could ask the NBA commissioner, but they would just defer to LeBron.
God, LeBron. I always thought that Stu's dislike for LeBron was a little irrational.
Oh.
Not anymore.
No,
perfectly right. It's the most rational thing
I actually fought against that because I don't know why. Maybe just because it was Stu and I don't like him. But I didn't want to hate LeBron.
Right. I didn't either.
And I thought, but he started to win me over, and then all of this, the last couple of years.
Yep.
Oh, I'm completely sold.
Please, I can't stand
Completely
LeBron
sold.
now. I don't want him to win another game, let alone a championship.
I know.
I root against the Lakers just because of him.
I know.
And so Barack Obama came out yesterday last night, in support of the NBA boycott.
What?
Yeah, what a surprise. Stunning surprise. Also surprising, no condemnation that I saw about the violence that's going on in Kenosha and elsewhere. No calming influence.
Please.
Here's a guy who can have real influence on people. Here's a guy who could come out and say, look, stop the violence, okay? Black lives do matter, so stop taking black lives. Stop ruining black businesses. Stop tearing up neighborhoods. Stop it. For that matter, don't be going through white neighborhoods yelling and screaming at 3 o'clock in the morning. We don't need any of that. Stop it. Has he done that? No.
Nope.
Where is Barack Obama on all of this? Well, I support the NBA stoppage. Oh, okay, big deal. Thanks for that.
I think these folks have a legitimate issue.
Yeah.
A lot of cops are bad.
Right. Well, he set that precedent himself, didn't he? When he said,
Yes, he did.
I don't have the facts, but the police acted stupidly. Yeah, somebody else just did that too.
I mean, it was the governor.
The governor of
Wisconsin, right?
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I don't have all the facts,
but
I know they were.
They were bad, and they're just killing people.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's not the quote,
but it was close to
Yes.
that. It was
Yes,
not
it
far
was.
from that.
I know. I mean, it's just amazing. I don't have the facts, but
Jeez.
screw off.
Right. I'm just so sick of it, and the mainstream media doesn't care at all. They just continue to ignore all of it, and they don't put any responsibility on anybody. Speaking of which, nobody will attach any responsibility to Jacob Blake.
Nope.
He's got no responsibility in getting shot there. None. Despite the fact that he was fighting with police, that he ignored every warning, that he just kept doing whatever it was he was going to do, despite the fact they're yelling and screaming at him to stop, and then he gets into his car, and do I wish they would have handled it differently? Yeah, but I'm not a cop. If I'm a cop and I'm not sure if you're getting a gun or not, I don't know how I'd act under those circumstances. Do I wish they had a hold of his shirt? If they could have pulled him back and tased him or something? I don't know.
The other video that was released that we finally see from the other side that was released, I think yesterday, right?
It shows him fighting with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fighting with the cops. So I don't understand how there's no accountability on his part. None. And it's really tragic what happened. It's really tragic that he got shot 7 times and now he's partially paralyzed. I hate that. I really do. But there's personal responsibility
Just a
here.
tad.
It's really tragic when somebody is driving 130 miles an hour and skids off a road and slams into a tree and is paralyzed or killed. That's a really sad thing too. But there's some responsibility on your part when you've done that.
Yes.
It doesn't make any sense. But we've gotten completely beyond that.
Oh, we're way past that.
And you can't even mention that.
We're
anymore.
way past that. I mean, that's the George Floyd stuff that the medical examiner threw out
that he
yesterday.
had a lethal
level
of fentanyl in his system.
We already knew he had fentanyl in him. So what? We already knew that he had meth in him. So what? We already knew that he had COVID-19. So.
Yeah, so
and the one guy, the one guy that we all agreed on at the time that shouldn't have happened.
Yes.
Right. We agreed.
Right.
What are you doing?
And then it turns out even he might have been dead even if he didn't have the cops on his neck. I don't know. Fentanyl slows down your breathing process. It can shut down your breathing without anybody kneeling on your neck. Yeah, it's kind of weird that way. And he had a lethal amount in his system, is what they're saying now.
Well, yes, that's what the medical examiner said, but I mean, lethal is only relative.
Right, yeah. What does that really mean?
Take.
So it's weird, but yeah, it's not going to make a difference to anybody.
No, not.
None of it.
Zero.
None of it matters.
Zero.
In fact, you shouldn't even bring it up. You're a racist if you bring it up.
I apologize. I just wanted
Too
you to
late
be
for
aware.
that. Too late. I can't accept your apology. No, stop the music. Stop the music.
What?
I'm not doing the rest of the show until all injustice everywhere stops. I'm leaving the studio and I'm not doing the show.
This is Jeff Fisher. Welcome to the Pat Gray program on
That's
the
what would happen
Blaze
here.
Television Network.
That's what would happen here. We just move on. Oh, okay.
We're
See ya.
breaking in. No, I was going to tell people
Bye-bye.
how important it was that you're not doing the
Right.
show.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
And,
tell them. Based on the injustice that's going
based
on
the injustices, right?
with
It's
mankind, and I want it to stop.
We've decided
now.
that Pat can move on. And, he can't be here when injustice is solved.
That's what should have happened yesterday to the Milwaukee Bucks. All right, you're not out here. The clock just went to 0-0. You're supposed to be. It's tip-off time. Bucks just forfeit. They forfeited the game. It's now Milwaukee 3-2 over Orlando. Orlando just won their second game.
Game time tomorrow.
And if they're not here tomorrow, it'll be 3-3 in the series. So
What about injustice, though?
And if they don't show up for Game 7, Orlando moves on.
What about injustice, though? You still haven't answered that.
I'm sorry. Basketball can't solve injustice.
I can't.
I wish they could.
What was the point of the bubble? The point of the bubble was they all come together so that they can play their games, not get sick.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
They can all be contractually okay with all their television contracts, all their paychecks. Are they giving up their money?
No.
That's what I would like to know.
Oh, my, no.
How important is it, this injustice for Mr. Blake, that they not work? Are they going to stop taking their paychecks?
Well, let me just say this, Jeffy. It's critical that they continue to receive their paychecks so that they can in turn fund the Black Lives Matter movement and fund all the social justice movements.
And there you have another reason that I thought it was so important to have this bubble in all the games so they could all just promote their Black Lives Matters and their different phrases on their jerseys.
Ever done that?
Yes.
Wow. So it's agonizing. I'm sick of the NBA. They're dead to me. They're dead to me. Also, Sean King. This is terrible. Sean King.
I know.
Is threatening to dox all the cops in the Kenosha department if Kenosha's police department don't acquiesce to his demand.
Sean King. The fake black guy.
The white guy. Yeah. Can somebody please remind Sean King he's a punk and a total loser masquerading as a black person? You're a white guy, Sean. Stop appropriating the black culture.
Right.
What are you doing? How come that's okay for that white guy to pretend to be black? Why? You can't even have dreadlocks if you're a white person, we're being told. Because you're appropriating
hair extensions,
their culture.
any of it.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that. I guess white people can't listen to rap
That's
music.
why I took my extensions out.
Is that why?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I didn't realize
Until
that.
injustice.
Huh. They looked so good on you, too. Well, that's a real shame.
I know.
It's a real shame. Yeah, the Sean King fiasco, this hoax that he's been running for, 10 years now? Come on, man. Come on, man.
I'm not joking either.
I'm not joking. You literally can't go into a 7-Eleven in Delaware without being Indian. Really? Okay. Thank you, Joe.
How does he get away with that? Seriously.
I don't know.
How does this guy get away with that?
With all of it. And he's done it a million times. He's done it a million times.
I can't. It's really...
You know who's been great through all this? This Kenosha stuff is Jacob Blake's mom.
She's
a hero to me.
Incredible.
She's a freaking hero.
Incredible. We saw yesterday.
You know she's getting all kinds of flack for this. You know she is, and she's standing up to it and saying, "So what? First of all, you can't don't be doing this in my name or my son's name.
Yeah.
He doesn't want it. I don't want it. We don't want it. Stop it. And here's what she said yesterday when she was on with Don Lemon. This is amazing.
For you. The destruction that has been taking place in cities across the country and in Kenosha. I heard you speak about that. And my question is, you said that you don't want that in Jacob's name, and neither would he. Tell me more about that, please.
Absolutely not. My family and I are very hurt and, quite frankly, disgusted. And as his mother, please don't burn up property and cause havoc and tear your own homes down in my son's name. You shouldn't do it. People shouldn't do it anyway. Right. But to use my child or any other mother or father's child, our tragedy, to react in that manner is just not acceptable. And it's not helping Jacob. It's not helping Jacob or any other of the men or women who has suffered in these areas.
That's right.
Do you have anything to say, Ms. Jackson, to the politicians who are out there, or anything you want to say?
Pause it for a sec. I don't know if he knew what was coming. Did you just ask a question you don't know the answer to? Because you should have known the answer to this. If not, I can't believe he's happy and okay with this response that's coming. Watch this. This is amazing.
To the presidents or the candidates or to Trump or Biden or anything like that?
For our President Trump, first I want to say a family member, and I don't know if it was heard or not, said something that was not kind. She is hurting, and I do apologize for that. Our outburst that does not reflect our behavior.
Wait.
And then also for President Trump.
Also for President
I'm
Trump.
sorry I missed your call.
Okay. Wow.
Because had I not missed your call, maybe the comments that you made would have been different. And I'm not mad at you at all. I have most respect for you
like
as the leader of our country.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I said before, and I'm not saying this to him directly, we should always get the details from the right source before we start throwing bricks.
Thank you. Don? Back to you, Don.
How's that, Don? That's what I had to say to the politician, to the president, to Trump or Biden or whatever. Yeah, sorry. We're sorry that, we don't blame you at all. That had to shock him to the core.
Sorry, I missed your call.
That's fantastic. She's been really great. Really great.
She's been awesome.
She's tried to be a calming influence.
Yes, she has.
And wow, I really appreciate that.
It doesn't appear to have been working all that well.
No, it's not. That's not.
But she's trying.
Yep.
She is trying.
Tucker Carlson asked a question now, and they're demanding that he be fired for it. He asked the question. What do you think was going to happen? Are you surprised? 17-year-old kids with guns are in the streets trying to make sure that people don't get looted and you don't set a car dealership on fire?
Right.
You can't ask that question without being fired? Unbelievable. It
sure is.
Because it's a legitimate question. They're not protecting anybody's property or the city or anybody in the city.
It's done.
They're not doing anything about it. They're allowing them to tear the city, to burn it to the ground. And so they shouldn't have, but they took it into their own hands.
I know.
I don't know what you're supposed to do, though.
I don't know either.
How do you restore order here?
You're supposed, I know that we're supposed to be peaceful and say, no.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Right.
But
turn the other cheek.
But my gosh.
Burn down that dealership too. Right. And the grocery store next to it.
Right.
While you're at the government building across the street.
And that store there ripped me off once.
You know, Glenn used to talk about all the time, and he had the timing wrong, but he says that he's not good on timing. But he's been warning about the summer of violence, the summer that we return to the 1968 violence, which has happened, and that when it does happen, you're going to turn to anybody who will finally end the madness and say, yeah, just stop it. I don't care what you do. Just stop it. I don't care how many freedoms I lose. Just stop the chaos. And we're getting to that point.
Yes, we are.
Well, I think we're at that point. And people just want it to stop.
And it's going to have to. Right? I said yesterday that I think, I don't think it's going to stop before, although it might. But after the election, it has to, right? Both sides. Right now, the left thinks that it's working to their advantage. So by the time the election gets over, whenever that is, then it's to no one's advantage.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, now it's just you're hurting everyone's property. And I just want to say, too, as well, Mr. President, I'm sorry I missed your call. I got your voicemail, though. And,
you do have
You can subscribe to Chewing the Fat on Spotify. So just go ahead and,
I bet
click
he's
on
pleased
Chewing
to
the
hear
Fat
that.
on Spotify.
I would guess
and,
he's pleased.
I'm sorry I missed your call. If I hadn't, you probably could have, subscribed on iHeartRadio or something. But no, just do Spotify, and you're good to go. So
yeah. And remind your friends and neighbors and family that the Pat Gray Unleashed podcast is also
He
available.
didn't mention that in his voice.
It's available everywhere. That's why I'm letting them know.
Okay. Sorry.
You can get it at Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Chrome, YouTube. The whole show's available now on YouTube, youtube.com/Pat Gray. Click the bell. And please subscribe and rate the 5 stars and share with your friends and your loved ones.
The president's busy. I just want him to know that he can subscribe to Chewing the Fat. That's all on Spotify. All the rest of the stuff. I know he's busy.
Plus, we're on a new channel on Pluto TV. We went from 250, I think channel 250 to 238. So you find us at channel 238 on Pluto. How
long before we're number one? Before they
aren't we number one yet?
One?
I think we're pretty close to
channel
that.
one.
Channel number one.
I'm sorry. How long before we get to channel one?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Got some tweets here. Scintillating Duck tweets, Jeffy only swept the outside of the chimneys. Is that true? You just sweep outside the chimneys?
That's funny.
Yeah,
funny.
it is funny.
Why would it be? Why wouldn't I sweep the inside of the chimneys? I don't know why. I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know what they're saying there. I wouldn't even hazard a guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because you were the one that said,
No, I don't
you were
remember
to fall
that.
in there, you'd be stuck. I wouldn't be able to use the chimney anymore.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, okay.
From Bob Blah Blah. Oh my gosh. I went to the grocery store and was forced to drive on only the right side of the road, yield to traffic lights, and actually pay for the food.
Oh my God.
This systemic racism has to stop. Thank you. That's right, Bob.
It's one of the reasons you walked off the show. This is the injustice that's going on in the world.
That's right.
In America.
That's exactly right. I'm sick of it. Beautiful stable genius tweets, Pat took his snarky pills today. He's truly unleashed this morning. Snarky pills? I don't think I've been the least bit snarky today. Have I? Huh. Okay. Pastor Sam Burton. So what you're saying, Pat, is that Helena looked like the cross-section of a Twinkie? Got it. Yeah, that's about right. Reality check. They've changed the programming for this fall. There will be no football. Instead, they'll show a continuous showing of Roots and The Glory. I actually like Roots.
And you know what? I would watch it probably 2 or 3 times before I said, okay, well, then you go back. Maybe during the season you go back and go, oh, we're at this scene of the Roots. Okay,
right.
Catch it in progress. But it's just, all the athletes are out of control.
Completely.
Play your game.
Yeah.
Play your game.
It'll be interesting to see if they keep this going today and the rest of the week, and who knows? Maybe they're just not going to play anymore. I don't know. If you're really going to put it on the line, then stop playing. Stop collecting a paycheck.
Yeah.
Let's see if that happens.
Yes.
Putin on a Ritz. The mean streets of Helena are much more diverse these days. Oh, because I was talking about the west side being white, whereas on the east side of Helena it was white, and then the north side was white. And then there was the south side that was white.
But then you specifically went into detail about the downtown.
Inner city, the urban center of the city was that. Now that was white. And then the Helena Valley, where you move out.
The greater Helena area?
Greater Helena, the metropolitan area was white.
Okay.
So, he says, Putin out of Ritz. It's still all whiteys here, but now our mayor is black. So, oh, wow, really? Helena's got a black mayor. Huh.
The one family's still there.
Good. Okay. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Right.
Got a black mayor in Helena, Montana.
An example of how tough it is here in America to succeed.
Right.
You can't do it. You can't do it. Even in a diverse town as Helena, Montana. It's just incredible to me how we still believe all this stuff.
It's
how
amazing,
we're supposed
isn't
to
it?
Believe
isn't it amazing? We're so racist that in Helena, Montana, where seriously, what is it? It's got to be less than 1% black. It's less than 1% black. They've got a black mayor. That's how racist we are. Come on. That's incredible.
Sure is.
That's incredible.
Yeah, Mr. Wilmot Collins. Good man.
And look up, for some reason I'm not, the internet isn't working in my computer right now. So see if you can look up the demographics of Helena. And let's find out what percentage of Helena, Montana is black. And they've got a black mayor. Come on. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about this country, I don't know what will.
2010 census.
Okay. Do they have a demographic breakdown?
93.3%
white. 93.3. Okay.
Right.
That's lower than I thought.
African American.
Yes.
African American. Coming in at?
2%.
Coming in at?
Under 1%.
Just a little high.
Under 1.
0.4%.
0.4. I was right the first time.
That's the 2010. That's 2010. Now you don't know there might be an influx.
4. They could have. They could be up to
years?
0.6 by now. We don't know. They could be at 0.6%. We don't know.
We don't.
It could have skyrocketed to that level. I don't know. What am I resisting? I don't know. Collectivization of manufacturing? I'm not sure. That is amazing. 0.4% black. A black mayor.
Look,
what a racist country.
You tried to talk about a diverse city.
Yeah, I know, right?
So
you got 93.3 white. What is the other?
Native American.
Okay.
0.7.
Right. Native Americans only 0.7.
Asian.
All right.
0.1.
And Hispanic.
Pacific Islander. 0.6.
Okay.
Other races. 2.6 from 2 or more races. Hispanic and Latino of any race, 2.8%.
So that's the other really populous group in town. 2.8%. That's great. Wow. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. From Caffeinated Texan, you want to see someone who's had some work? Nancy Pelosi.
So you're going to agree with me on this one?
Yes,
okay.
I absolutely agree with that. One more facelift, and that woman will have a beard.
Well, see, I think now we're stuck with just for her health and her health reasons because she's getting up there in age. She's only getting shots for fillers and tighteners, and then she has the guy stand behind her with the foot on between her shoulder blades and just pulls it tight.
Pulls it
tight, and then as soon as the speech is done, he lets go, and Nancy's just like.
I think that's true.
Yeah, I believe that's to be true. Yeah.
Reality check. A very wonderful speech last night by the guy in the wheelchair. Yeah, his name is Madison. I'm surprised CNN and MSNBC has not commented about no one wearing a mask or social distancing when they came out to hold the walker down so he could stand up.
Don't get me started on Cowworth, man.
He's really good. We're going to try to get him on the air, see if we can talk
That'd be
to him.
worth it.
Madison Cawthorn is his name.
He's an up-and-coming star, that guy.
For sure.
I mean, we've seen up-and-coming stars this whole week.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
People that believe in America and want to get this nation moving in the right direction. And I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's awesome. It really is. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Oh, by the way, the Weather Channel had something so cool.
Laura's
they showed
made
people.
landfall.
Yeah,
Laura's. I mean, she's in.
It hit Louisiana. It made landfall
About
close
2
to
a.m.
Lake Charles. And
well, that's where Jim Cantore was. So wherever Jim Cantore is, you don't want to be.
Right. But look at the way they depict things and try to get the point across that you can't survive this.
How dangerous it is.
Watch this from the Weather Channel.
You need to evacuate. I'm not going to stop there. Let me show you what that looks like. Just a couple of inches of water can knock you off balance, and a couple of feet of water can send a car floating away. When you have that storm surge rise up to 3 feet, it's too late to evacuate. You need to shelter in place. All kinds of stuff could be in this water. Dangerous wildlife, or even cars and objects with enough force moving around to act like a battering ram and knock down walls and even buildings. But we know there's going to be storm surge flooding above that. Let's go to 6 feet. How about that? 6 feet of water rise. You better move to the highest floor of a building. That's the only way to survive. And unfortunately, there are going to be places that get more than 6 feet. How about 9 feet of storm surge? Even more than that. This is not survivable, and this is why you need to evacuate when told to do so. So please follow the updates from the National Hurricane Center and pay attention to those evacuation orders when issued. This is a very dangerous scenario unfolded, and please.
I love their graphic. They started
that
that,
is
they
really
started that
cool.
a couple of years ago, I think. I'm not sure exactly when they started using that graphic, but it's awesome.
It's cool.
It's really awesome.
And
I will
impactful, too.
Yes, it is. And I will say, I did hear a report about the storm, and the reporter was like, well, in Louisiana, they aren't able to force people out of their homes. They can just tell them how they need to get out and how unsafe it is. And I'm thinking, well, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Right. Yeah, you shouldn't have to force people. You shouldn't be able to force people.
Right.
They want to stay, but they have to know.
I mean, look.
Okay, we're not coming for you.
Well, we do.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Right.
That's the problem. Because even when we tell them we're not coming for you, we come for them.
Yeah.
So you have to, if you're going to if you're going to draw that line and say, okay, it's your responsibility now. You're a big person. You're an adult. We're not coming for you. So when it's 9 feet of water in your house, you're on your own.
Well, if the storm is still going, I mean, that's a difficult time to come for the rescue, right? But afterwards, we come to rescue, and it's it usually
we're not coming
doesn't
for you.
pan out well.
That's just what you have to get through to their head.
But I do seem to think that when I heard that, then I also thought I do remember Louisiana coming for guns.
Yeah, they sure did.
After a certain storm,
the people still never got back. But it's only been 15 years. So maybe they're still going to get the gun back? I don't know.
We're inventorying.
15 years. Don't worry about
everything's under inventory right now.
Hey, what do you want it right back the next day? It's only been 15 years. Get off me. Hang on for a second, would you? We've been busy.
Oh, you're pushy.
All right, we will finish off the week together right here tomorrow at Pat Gray Unleashed. We'll see you then.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.